So let's talk about this Arkansas team. The thing that really impressed me more than anything else, you guys already hit on this, was Anthony Black. I did not, Goodman, I did not expect him to come in and have this level of ability already. Like, he is just so calm and composed in ball screens that you can't teach that, right? You just kind of have that. And for a kid that's like 19 years old, to be able to come off and make some of those reads and make some of those plays and have that feel, I could not have been more impressed watching him play.
He was awesome. He was awesome on both ends, right, John? I mean, like, usually freshmen don't come in and want to guard. And offensively, we saw what he could do, handling the ball, making good decisions, scoring when he needed to. But to me, I think what gives this Arkansas team a chance to maybe get to a Final Four and maybe win the whole thing is you've got freshmen that were highly ranked guys that want to come in Black and Jordan Walsh that want to guard. That to me separates them.
And Walsh, I think, is such a credit to his basketball IQ and acumen, because he didn't do too much. He guarded. He took his plays when he took his spots when he could. And Black, he has a kind of a innate kind of natural feel for the game. A move that stuck out to me was on the fast break where he would split the two guys with the Euro. It's just something you can't teach, man. So like I said, I'm a fan. I'm gonna see if this kind of keeps going on, but I promise you, if he keeps playing like this, he'll hear his name called within the first 10 names.
Yeah, because with that size as a point guard, with that size and that two-way ability, like, there just aren't a lot of dudes like that.
Can he shoot? How well can he shoot it, Goodman?
I think he's decent. From that was kind of his probably the biggest weakness coming in. I mean, same thing with obviously Jordan Walsh is an athlete, right? I saw him play a good amount at the Peach Jam. He's a big-time athlete, defender, not known to be a shooter. So that might hold him back a little bit. Black is more a streaky shooter than anything. And then we haven't even talked about him, but Brazil was freaking ridiculous tonight. Ridiculous.
He saved him. I mean, those 2 threes, the game was kind of, not out of hand, but they had it on hold, and those 2 threes kind of sparked a little life in him, especially the second one. So he played well. And those dunks, whew,
he is long and athletic.
How tall is he? 6'8"? How tall is he? 6'9"?
Yeah, like 6'10", like 6'9", 6'10".
6'9". Yeah.
Okay.
And he transferred from Missouri, and they've been raving about him. And he was like, when he transferred, I don't think anybody knew he was this good, because Missouri, they were kind of irrelevant last year. He didn't put up big numbers, and certainly you didn't expect. And I think in the scout, it obviously the scout said let him shoot it from 3, because nobody was near him on those. And
part of the reason they weren't is because Kalkbrenner was guarding him, and I think that was part of Muss's game plan. Is like, okay, look, you're gonna play out here. We know that he can't come out there and stay with you because he doesn't have the quick feet like that. So I think that was part of the game plan. And look, frankly, that's what makes Brazil so dangerous, because he can play the 5 defensively, and you can pull him out, and that's why you need big guys that can shoot at the next level. You mentioned Jordan Walsh. That dude can guard.
Yes.
Like that dude is an animal. That Arthur Kaluma is a really good player. Arthur Kaluma is a guy that could end up being a late first-round draft pick. Arthur Kaluma looked horrible tonight for about the first 35 minutes. He made some plays down the stretch, but I'm sitting there watching him like, there's no way this dude is actually this bad. And I think it had everything to do with Jordan Walsh. Like that length, that athleticism. There's a lot of guys that have that. John, how many guys do you know that can build themselves entirely around being defense? Like that's pretty unique, especially for a kid. 5-star, what was he, top 15 player in the country, something like that?
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah.
I always used to say, being a defensive guy, if you can play defense, you can get on the court, right? And then everything else takes care of itself. And I think Walsh is kind of fitting to that mold. He's got a lot of guys like to score. He's got a lot of offensive guys, but you have to play him because the way he guards, the plays he makes. Like I said, I loved how he didn't try to force it like Kaluma was forcing it. And so I loved how he played. And he had one kind of athletic play where he almost dunked the dude. So that's just a credit to the coaching. His coaching before college, he's got all SEC, all defensive potential. I think he's going to be good.
Mm-hmm. What's the ceiling for this Arkansas team, Jeff, when they get Nick Smith back?
I mean, the biggest question for me was obviously the chemistry, right? And you got 11 of 13 guys that are brand new, bunch of transfers, which Muss has done a great job. He's used to that, right? From coaching the NBA, from obviously doing it at Nevada as a head coach with transfers and now at Arkansas. But the blend of the transfers and then the highly ranked freshmen. And it was like, all right, I don't know how this is going to work. It's certainly going to take a while. Arkansas last year, John, was not very good early and didn't really play anybody, didn't really beat anybody. And the fans hated me because I wouldn't rank them. And they just weren't that good early. And then they turned it on second half. And I figured they'd probably do something similar this year. But instead,
they're already like that is a Final Four caliber team right now. And they still have a lottery pick that's not playing. What I love about them is they have basically when Nick Smith gets back, I think they'll probably cut down that rotation to 6 guys. Maybe the Mitchell twins will each get like 5 or 6 minutes, but it's basically going to be those 6 guys. And they're all big. They can all play on the perimeter. They're all switchable. If you really wanted to, you could probably switch 1 through 5 when you have Anthony Black and Nick Smith out there. Those guys are both. What's Nick Smith? 6'4"?
Yeah,
right? Something like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So you could be really switchable. You have freshmen that are 1, polished at the point guard spot, and 2, willing to defend like that. I don't know how you can come out of that thinking anything other than like, okay, Arkansas, like they can get back to a 5. They've been to back-to-back Elite Eights. This team might actually be better than those other 2 teams. I don't think that's crazy to say, John, is it?
Yeah, I think, and then those 3 freshmen they have, they're gonna get incrementally better as the season goes on. They're gonna get more comfortable. That's kind of the only reason why I took Creighton was because of the experience kind of factor. But once those guys get rolling and towards the end of the season, it's kind of funny you talking about Arkansas 3 top-ranked freshmen like they're Kentucky. Like it's like how him to be down there doing that is kind of crazy. But I'm excited to that's one of the teams I kind of got marked off. Like I just want to watch them from a fan perspective because they were so fun to watch. They were it was fun, man. It was a fun game. Game of the year so far.
I mean, they've got these big time players, and part of the reason they've got them because they got momentum, they've done well, but they've also got NIL, and that combination, you're going to be able to compete for those top players. And again, the beauty of those guys, they're all different. The key is going to be though when Nick Smith comes in, right? Like, how much does he want to show he's the guy, especially after missing now the first 5-6 games? Is he going to come in firing or not? I don't think he will. I mean, again, I don't know him super well, but everything I've been told and we have talked to him, he seems like a really good kid. But some of these kids are going to play for draft stock, and some aren't. Some are just going to say to themselves, you know what, like Dylan Mitchell of Texas, I am what I am. I'm buying into winning. I don't need my shots. Nick Smith, though, his draft stock is based on scoring. So that's going to be interesting to see. Jordan Walsh, are you okay averaging 8 points a game this year?
He should be, because if he does what he did tonight and maybe knocks down a couple more threes, like he's going to end up being a first round pick. Guys that can defend like that are very valuable if they can shoot. I would be more worried about Ricky Council, right? Because he's scoring a lot now. He got 19 shots tonight. When Nick Smith comes back, what happens if that goes to 8 or 9 shots, right? What happens to Devo Davis? Does Devo Davis come off the bench again? Is it something where he was the preseason SEC player of the year last year, right? And he came in this season and he ended up coming off the bench. When Arkansas went on their run last year, John, is when Devo accepted a role off the bench, and that's when they became really, really good. So what happens when you add this other shooter, this other shot maker into the mix? Are there going to be enough people willing to sacrifice? And I think that will end up being the key. But if there's one thing about Muss, he can find a way to get that done, and he's done it over and over and over again. All right, I'm putting both of you guys on the spot. Goodman, we're going to you first on this one. You have to buy into just one of those 2 teams, Creighton or Arkansas. Who are you buying into long term?
Boy, I never thought I'd say this, but Arkansas, absolutely. I just think they can do it on both ends. When you get Nick Smith back, you've got a team that's going to be able to score at a high level, and I think they could be an elite defensive team. Like Creighton can't be an elite defensive team. They're going to be better than they've probably ever been, and they can score with anybody. I think Arkansas has a chance to be a top 10 team on both ends of the court.
Well, Creighton was a top 12 team on defense last year, but
They weren't top 10 then.
yeah, there you go. John, go ahead.
I'm going Arkansas too. I mean, when you see what they put on the court, those kids have just started their college career.
Yeah.
Nick Smith is coming back. I do think that, you know, the team looks like they're well coached. And when you get a group of athletes that look like they're well coached and that buy-in, that's when you win games. And so hopefully with Smith coming back, he's kind of learning and seeing, because at the end of the day, you know, he's a scorer, but winning matters, man. Winning really matters to these guys, college guys. And, you know,
It should,
especially
John. It should.
Yeah,
not to all of them. To some.
Not to all of them. Not to all of them, but winning matters also to go to the next level. That's what I kind of meant to say. So, like, hopefully Nick realizes that if Arkansas can stay a perennial top 10 team and win the SEC and go far in the tournament, I think Nick Smith scores. Who cares what he scores? He's going to be drafted at a high. So,
Yes.
Hopefully he realizes that, checks out the pod, and, you know, take a little advice.
As much as it pains me to say this, I kind of think I have to take Arkansas too, because I thought that they were as impressive and if not more impressive than Creighton. I thought that if there was a friendly whistle in the second half of that game, I think Creighton got the friendly whistle, and Nick Smith is not playing yet. So I can see where there's a more of a ceiling for Arkansas than there will be for Creighton moving forward. But for the record, I love both of these teams,
Me
and
too.
I would love to see them both in the Final Four coming up in Houston.